Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Lia Kajiki. I'm a PhD student at the Universidade de Brasília in Brazil. And today I will present some interesting findings about the helmeted mannequin, which led us to suggest it as the oldest of mannequins. Mannequins are well known for the polygynous lacking system, with male elaborate courtship displays and emancipation from parental care. Lacking species do not hold individual territories. Instead, they commonly defend and display in an arena. The helmeted mannequin historically has been considered socially monogamous and a rare instance of loss of lacking behavior among mannequins, based on few observations of pair bonding and territoriality found in the first study with the species. These studies proposed deviation from a typical ancestral lacking system would have occurred because of selection associated with an evolutionary preference for the humid gallery forests in the tropical savanna Cerrado biome, where is the only dichromatic mannequin. However, a recent study with the helmeted mannequin's only congener, the Aradeep mannequin, found genetic evidences that the species is not monogamous. The Aradeep mannequin has an atypical mating system, where polygynous males do not perform parental care, but defend individual territories where females nest. Curiously, males holding a territory are only a very small proportion of offspring produced in their own territory. So apart of the striking color difference on most of the body plumage, the two antelope species are very similar in morphology and behavior. Both species generally occur in narrow strips of gallery forest surrounded by a savanna vegetation. However, while the entire population of the Aradeep mannequin occupies a small area of around 30 kilometers squares, which for those familiar with US national parks corresponds to the Hot Springs National Park area, the helmeted mannequin is widely distributed across nearly 2 million kilometers square of Cerrado biome. So population dynamics should be very different between the two species, which could affect territorial size and breeding behavior. Therefore, our aim in this study was to investigate the existence of territoriality and parental behavior in the helmeted mannequin. This study was conducted in a protected area in Cerrado biome in Brasília, Brazil. Sampling occurred within humid gallery forests that covered an area of around 1 kilometer squares and that are surrounded by savanna vegetation. In the map, gallery forests correspond to the darker green areas highlighted in the photo on the left. We collected data from 2017 to 2020. We intensely captured and banded helmeted mannequins, and we monitored 8 banded male adults to study their territories. With few georeference localities, we estimated their preliminary territories with minimum convex polygons, in which external locations are connected with a straight line to form a polygon. It was possible to have an idea of the size of the potential territories, but we conducted territorial defense experiments to verify and calculate the real territories. We adopted the concept that territories are defended and exclusive areas where typically breeding activities occur. We conducted experiments outside, on the border, and in the center of these preliminary territories as represented in this picture on the bottom right. In the territorial defense experiments, we displayed a taxidermy decoy of helmeted mannequin in male adult plumage along with playback, which consisted of 1 minute playback song interspersed by 30 seconds of silence for a total of 10 minutes. All responses from mannequins were annotated and we considered as defensive behavior when males approached 2 meters or less of the decoy or showed any aggressive behavior. To estimate territory sizes, we used the kernel density estimation technique, which gives the probability density of the utilization distribution that an animal is found at a certain point according to its location. We visually defined territory boundaries from the utilization distribution that included all of the locations with response to the experiments, excluded locations with no response to the experiment, and resulted in a contiguous area. So we conducted 55 territorial defense experiments with the 8 males, and in nearly half of the total aggressive responses, males responded with this behavior, clearly trying to attack the decoy. A recent study with the hound mannequin discarded the hypothesis of territoriality in the species because territories of individuals studied overlapped extensively. However, the authors relied on perch locations to estimate territory boundaries, which could actually be mistaken with home range boundaries. The experimental approach we adopted in this study was essential to discriminate between home range and territory boundaries. So our results demonstrated the hound mannequin does defend individual territories. As far as we know, this experimental approach was never employed with this species or other mannequins. The preliminary estimates of territory with MCP revealed to be conservative estimates when compared to kernel. When compared to additive mannequins' territories, average size of territory for hound mannequin was 7 times larger than additive mannequins' estimates. It is possible that this difference exists due to the extreme limitation of the habitat occupied by the additive mannequin, but it should be noticed the authors investigating territoriality in the additive mannequin relied on estimating it with MCP, which has several limitations, such as being highly affected by locations on the periphery of a boundary. We found an average of in home range size of nearly 6 hectares that encompass the smaller territories. Finally, the individual territoriality we found in the helmeted mannequin suggests a non-promiscuous mating system, but parental care data indicates the opposite. We found 54 active nests and recorded the activity of 39 nests in nearly 15 hours of video recording. Only the female built the nest and performed all parental care. Classic theory proposes that mating systems and patterns of parental care are closely associated. Hence, the absence of parental care by male helmeted mannequins indicates an emancipation from offspring care, and would then provide an opportunity for them to be polygynous, similar to other members of the Peperidae family. The loss of direct male parental care and the existence of lacking behavior are strongly evident in the majority of species in the family. In promiscuous systems, it is expected that females will nest on sites independent of males' locations, and for lacking birds away from display grounds that could attract predators. We found that around 20% of all active nests were located within territories, although none had more than 2 simultaneous active nests. Nesting seems clustered in some areas, as you can see in this map, focusing on 3 territories. And we observed some females nesting in the same area across 2 breeding seasons. As you can see, lack of available nesting sites is not a factor influencing female helmeted mannequins to restrict nesting sites close to or within male territories. So to wrap up, in this study, we found the helmeted mannequin holds individual territories, but only females perform all parental care duties. Our results suggest it does not fit in a monogamous nor in a typical lacking system. However, it will only be possible to confirm the helmeted mannequin's genetic mating system with genetic paternity data. So I would like to thank to all funding agencies indicated here that supported this study, to all volunteers who helped me conduct the experiments, and for your attention with this presentation. And I will be happy to answer your questions now or reach me whenever. Thank you.